Good morning, everybody. It's wee Paddy from across the shuck. And how's my potato chips today? Here's another wee video for you. And this is a GEC, not versus, but in comparison with a Rough Rider Reserve Whitler. Um, and this is an off the cuff. I just came down to my wee office to think of a video to make for today. And I'd won this one in a raffle, just recently won it in a raffle. And I was having a look at it yesterday. And it's a really good knife. And I thought, well, let's compare it with a GEC. Now, I haven't put a versus because they're two different price ranges. So I wouldn't expect them to be the same quality. And a lot of people have said, oh, the Rough Rider Reserves are the same quality as the GEC. This is my second one. Sadly, they're very good quality, but I don't put them in the same league as a GEC. That's just my opinion. But that will not affect how I review these two knives, because although I haven't done a lot of whittling, I just want to compare them as knives, just as they come in the door. Here we are. Here's two knives. I should have done the whittling in this, but I haven't yet. And a wee update as well. My little grandson, who joined the Navy, suffered really badly from homesickness. Then a few in his platoon or a squad got COVID. Then he ended up getting COVID himself and being isolated. Homesickness was really beating him down. And I felt so sorry for him. He's only just over 16, so he was very young to be away from home and to be suffering from COVID, isolated. But I'm so glad to say the homesickness has kind of left him, and he's decided he wants to make a go of it. So they're sending him home on leave to get over COVID and whatever, and then he's gone back to starting a new squad, and he'll go through his basic training. So if he does watch this, he probably won't, but I just want to let him know that me and Granny are really proud of him, and keep on going. He'll get it if he wants it. So that's that. Now, there we go. Proud granddad bit. Sorry, couldn't resist it. So let's take them out and see what's in the boxes. They both come in lovely tubes. Different. This is I think it's a tin tube. This is just the card. The graphics on the GEC, much higher standard, which I would expect for the price that I'm paying for them. So again, this is not going to be a slam Rough Rider. I love Rough Rider. I think they're the brilliant gateway into traditional knives. So you get the tin, comes off at the top. What do you get in the tin? The knife came in the typical brown paper, and an eating bag, and a lovely little cloth, which I think is very nice. It's a Rough Rider cloth, so I'll show you. This is just for those of you who haven't seen it. It comes that lovely little, it's an eyeglass cloth basically. So that's what I'm going to use it for cleaning the knives as I do the review. So I'll set that over there. So there's no point seeing these. I'll take these out of the way. What do you get with a GEC? You get the nice tube, and it tells you what it is on the top of it. Burst orange jig bone, and it's a Whitler number 38. And you get this beautiful knife. Comes in brown paper, just like the Rough Rider. Much more. This is more a manageable size for me than this. This is rather big. I wouldn't have bought this based solely on the size of it, because it's not a knife I would carry. But then again, if you're going to whittle, you're not going to be carrying it about. You're using it for a specific task. So that's not to go against it. You get this lovely English Whitler badge here that goes with it. You don't always get them, but I've been very fortunate recently. I've got badges with nearly every one of them. So let's see what size they are. There's the first thing that we can do with these two knives. And that is 4.5 inches long, which is big for a traditional knife. The GEC is 3 7/8, which is a full size, I would say, GEC knife. But there is a big difference in the dimensions of the knives. You can see that, how different they are. Let's turn them over. The Rough Rider's a bigger knife, but look at the thickness of the back spring. Now, looking at the back springs, they're both perfect. There's no gaps in them whatsoever. Little tiny one down there, but we'll get to that. This is 2-spring. This is 2-spring. This holds 3 blades, and this holds 3 blades. So, what have we got? Let's have a look at it. the thickness is just vastly different. Vastly different. This in the hand would be for extended whittling and intricate whittling. This to me, and they got the lovely shield on that too. This to me is for bigger tasks at whittling, which gives it its own place rather than fighting against the GEC whittler. This gives it its own place. Not everybody whittles little tiny birds or a little, whatever, little animals like I will probably do. Other people like to do bigger things, bigger projects, like big owls and things like that. So it's on a different scale and size and for a different use. I believe they're for different uses anyway. That's the way I'll be using it. This would be for, or if I want to remove a lot of stock, especially if you're doing spoon carving or something, this would be brilliant for removing a lot of stock. So you can get down to using your smaller, more delicate blades. But you could use this to rough it out. So let's see the blades. I'll set that up there and we'll go on the Rough Rider. Stainless steel bolsters and back springs, I would take it. There's brass liners, and that is absolutely perfectly, and I mean perfectly fitted. There's absolutely nothing. This is micarta, black micarta, I believe. I haven't even checked that up. But you have beautiful, the stainless steel pins, or nickel silver even. They're just a bit yellowy, might be nickel silver. Really, just excellent. Now, how do the blades sit? Let's just have a look. Them blades sit pretty good. Really, really, come on. That is they're big, thick blades. Look at that blade stock on it. So, let's get the main knife out. Now, I always looked at this before and thought, how uncomfortable would that swell centre be? But let me tell you, it's not. The only uncomfortable part about this knife is the sharp corner, which could be easily rounded off because it sticks right into the palm of my hand. But when I'm doing a fist grip, which I'm going to be doing if I'm going to be removing stock, I don't feel it whatsoever. It is out the back there and not sticking in me. Good spring on the knife. Once it's opening, I would say lovely half stop too. Oh, nice sound. It's about a 5. Which is absolutely fine. It's got good stops. There's good spring there. Really nice. The blade grind, let me just let you see that. That is, let me see the other side. That is pretty even. That is a really good grind. Lovely blade. Satin sort of a finish on the blade. You have the RRR. There we go. On the tang stamp, and on the other side you've got the number, the RRR003 in D2 and China. So a really good blade steel for a pocket knife, especially, a whittler. You're going to get plenty of longevity in it. Just keep it stropped and you'll keep that sharpness on it. Really good. What do we get with it? We get a beautiful coping blade. Isn't that lovely? That's like a little razor blade. Again, the grind, I'm looking down at this grind on these, and that grind is equal on both sides. Extremely well done, and extremely sharp too. That's not bad at all. I mean, I would strop them before use, but I would do that with any blade before I do it. And then you get this lovely long pen blade. Look at the grinds on these. I mean, that is excellent work. It really is excellent. I give this a quick look. I did not give that an inspection and grinds. Maybe you can tell by my voice because I'm quite shocked. That is a beautifully lovely ringed bolsters. It's like a swell-centered sleeve board, smaller at one end, larger at the other. I don't know what you call it, just a swell center whittler, I suppose. Now, the blades, I'm just trying to work out what springs they run on. This larger one runs on both of them, whatever way they have it done. It's not a split back, but it's actually running. I suppose maybe that's why it's so thick. If you can look at the corner of the blade here, when I lift that up, both sides are coming up. So the main blade is running on the 2 springs, which would on a split back. This is quite interesting, I have to say. For me, I'm not, I've never really had. So yeah, the smaller blades run on single blades, and the main one is a twin blade. I'm trying to look to see if I've missed anything. But no, that is very clever. I'll have to say, very, very clever. That main blade's running on two, much like a split back, but then you don't have that really delicate operation that it takes to put the brass liner up the center of a split back whittler, which is just craftsmanship at its very, very best. But for this price, I'm sorry, I can't find look, the transitions, the shield. That's quite hard to put a shield that intricate into my Carta. And look, there is nothing sticking up. The pins are perfect. This is an excellent knife. There you go. That's a Rough Rider Reserve. I'm telling you, that is an excellent, excellent knife. So let's put it down and we'll have a look at the GEC. Now, to me, this is classy. This is GEC at its best. Look at that jigging on that bone. Is that not just beautiful? This is an English shield, which doesn't look as fancy as a lot of others, but they were keeping it in the English Whitler fashion, and that's a heraldic shield. That's the shape they come in. They're not all fancy like a modern shield, so they've kept that there, and I appreciate that. That's a little bit of detail that's there. This one I've done a review on before. I've done the initial opening. These rat tails here across is what they call them when they're wider and down at the bolster, are done to a standard that is beyond anything you would see in any other company at the minute. I just think the bone handle, again, you get the smaller end. So this is a sway back or a dog leg, which is not a sway back. It's more of a dog leg, a kick at the bottom of it. Absolutely love the pills. I love domed pins in jigged bone. Yes, some of them will stick up, but these are all domed over and you can't feel them when you're rubbing your hand up because you've got all the bumps and lumps of the grinds, and they've done it on the other side as well, which is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, this is what's going to separate this from the Rough Rider. If you haven't seen it, there's two back springs on this, but you have another spring that runs right. It's really hard to get that. Oh, there you are. You can see it that way. That's better, is it? Let me just get this in the right. It's so well done, you can't see it. But down the center here, there's a separator going between the two blades, and it comes right down to here, which is the little gap that I was pointing out. That's there purposely. Now, the only fault with these that I find is that this sticks up a little bit and you can't catch it in your finger. But that's because it is so thin down there, the separator. If I lift the blade, which I found out when I was doing the first review, lift the blade and just gently put it in, it goes away. But when you thump it, the action of dropping your blade sharply on it does do that. But that is a really, really minor when you think of the delicacy it takes to do that. Can you see that liner? That is so well done. Oh, there you are. You can sort of see the line. That's how thin they are. Starts up thick there and goes down to next to nothing. And that's a little bit that if you slap the blade down, it will sort of move a bit, but not a problem whatsoever. Not a problem. Look at the blade. A beautiful Wharncliffe blade. Perfect blade for whittling. I think it's just a stunning blade. Can do so much when you're whittling. Remove stock. Pointed blade that can get in and give you delicate little scoops out when you're whittling. I'm using all the technical terms here. I hope you're appreciating that. There we go. Lovely little sheep's foot coping blade, whichever you want to call it. I tend to call it a coping blade in the whittler. Maybe, I don't know what you do, but it's basically just a sheep's foot. But the coping blade sometimes is a bit of a sharper angle. So, lovely little blade for all your delicate little pieces. And then you have the pen blade, which is, again, so useful for whittling. So, to me, I mean, look at the way the blades are in there. Just look at that. Is that not just perfect? There's no rubbing. No rubbing. How beautiful is that? The last whittler I done, the main blade went right the way down through the bottom tangs of the smaller blades. This one hasn't really, well, it maybe goes in a little bit, but not that much. But that is perfection. Perfection. Absolute perfection. And Again, it's a little thinner down this end, a little thicker up this end, because this is where this terminates here. And you can see just that little bit thinner than the top end. I just think this is GEC, again, showing their muscle at how good they are at making pen knives. This is a really pocketable knife. You can use this for EDC if you want. It's not just a whittler. That to me is not what, it's not what I would call an EDC carry, but it's a whittling. It's a knife for a purpose. And what better thing for a knife is to have a purpose? You would use that solely in my books. Now, there's a lot of people who carry big knives. Look at the Knife Detector, Williams Knife Life. They like big knives. That's not me. I don't like. This is about as big as I like to carry on a regular basis as an EDC. But we're all different. Isn't that the joy of this hobby? So, and this is just a quick going over because I really wanted. I hear people all the time saying that the new Rough Rider Reserves are, for the price, much better than the GEC. They're just it's so much cheaper, and we can't get GECs. You can, but you have to hunt, and it depends how much you want them, how much you want to hunt, and how much you want to pay. They're a dearer knife, full stop. They're not made in mass numbers because it's not a big factory. They can't do the mass numbers that a Chinese maker can do. But the quality, the workmanship, everything about this is way above this. But in use, and that's what we buy a knife for. This is a perfect hand size, I would say, whittling knife for doing small whittling. This is the beastie boy. This is great for your bigger whistling, for stock removal, for getting the things ready that you can use a smaller whittling knife. So it has a purpose. Is the fit and finish good? No, the fit and finish is not good. It's excellent. Excellent fit and finish. I can't find a fault. Look, I'd be looking for a wee nitpick if it was looking for anything. I haven't got one. That is beautiful. Blade steel's good. D2 gives another option to 1095, which you always get in GEC because it's traditional. This is a modern traditional, so you're getting D2. Now, you get D2 and other traditional knives, but not from GEC on the whole. So what have I got to say? In conclusion, what have I got to say about these two knives? Both excellent knives. Two different price points. Two different standards of fit and finish. This is excellent. This is excellent. And they're excellent for their price. So that's the difference. They're excellent for their price. I can't find fault. Now, there is a wee thing at the back of that, and I don't know whether that happens in all whittlers, but it is a wee tiny fault, so I'll mark it down for that just in case. But I still won't compare the two knives. They're two separate price ranges. They're two separate. This is just made in a factory, but made to a standard that is way beyond any Rough Rider I've had. Now, I have another one, and it is this one. I've done this on my channel. This is the one-arm opener in denim micarta. The fit and finish of that is equal to that. So they're now starting to hit that point in their price sale where they're hitting it on a regular basis. And that's what you have to do to keep these relevant. It's too big a knife for me personally, width-wise, length-wise. But as a knife, I cannot fault it. I'm not going to get rid of this. I'm going to keep this. It's going to go on my 500 giveaway. This will be one of the giveaways when I get the 9,500, sorry. So I've only got just over about 170 to go, and this will be one of the giveaways. This is a beautiful knife, and whoever gets it will be very lucky because I can't find fault with this, and I think it's a beautiful, beautiful knife. This is in my collection forever because the standard of this is just GEC punching their way through. They keep knocking them out. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous knife for me. So there you go. Buying a Rough Rider Reserve, highly recommend them. Highly recommend them. That's better than any case I've ever had. Now, there's a saying. There is a saying. That's better quality, fit and finish than any case I've ever had. And I'm not saying case are bad. I have a lovely collection of case. I love them. They're nice knives. But the quality of that one and of this other one are way up there. Way up there. They are larger knives, but there's plenty of us out there who like larger knives. So there you go. What do you think of it? Have you had either or both? What do you think of them? Which one would you buy if money wasn't the object? Because that's a real teasing question. Which one would you buy if they were the equal price? Which one would you buy? There we go. I'll give you the option. There's a question for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll get this posted up, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye now. Bye.